I could do it. Good morning. Welcome to Orange Coast Unitarian Universalist Church. My name is Joel Ibanez, and I am your worship associate today. I'm joined by Reverend Sian Wiltshire, our minister, Jacob Swetland, our Director of Music Ministries, and Danielle Lewis, our Director of Religious Education for Children and Youth. We all welcome you this morning, whether you've been here 30 years or 3, 10 months or 10 minutes, and whether you strolled, rolled, zoomed, ran, or danced in, we're glad to have you join us today. I want to send a special welcome to visitors. If you're seeking a spiritual home, we hope that you'll find it here. We are a community of many different identities and beliefs. We're bound together not by dogmas, creeds, or fears, but rather a covenant to create a welcoming, inclusive, and loving community. We need not think alike to love alike. In the spirit of building this community, let's recognize the many volunteers who have helped put this service together today. Thank you. Roomers, we invite you to silence your cell phones, and Zoomers, we invite you to say hello in the chat. As we worship today, let us acknowledge that our church property rests on the sacred ancestral homelands of the Ahachiman and Tongva peoples who seek justice and responsible stewardship. We begin our worship with the lighting of our chalice. And this morning, I'd like to invite Judith Stamper to light our chalice. She is very involved in the church activities. She's been coming to our OCUUC since 1996. She is a member of our board as the vice president of programs. And as an example of that, recently they did the Hearts and Hands program at the Latter-day Saints Church, where we had 5 OCUUC members attend and made 50 toys for the Adopt a Pet program. It was quite a wonderful thing. And she's also definitely involved in, you may see the handouts that you see, the survey on your seats, the Adopt a Family program. If you'd like any information on that, please ask Judith. So now let's go ahead and join with her as she lights the chalice in saying our unison affirmation. Love is the spirit of this church, and service is its law. To dwell together in peace, to seek truth and love, and to help one another. This we affirm together.
Please rise in body or spirit, and let's sing our opening song. Guide my feet while I run this race. Guide my feet while I run this race. Guide my feet while I run this race. For I don't want to run this race in vain. Hold my hand while I run this race. Hold my hand while I run this race. Hold my hand while I run this race. For I don't want to run this race in vain. Stand by me while I run this race. Stand by me while I run this race. Stand by me while I run this race. For I don't want to run this race in vain. Search my heart while I run this race. Search my heart while I run this race. Search my heart while I run this race. For I don't want to run this race in vain.
Our choir is out today, but if you were wondering what that gorgeous soprano voice was over here, this is Jenna Hansen, our guest singer here today. And you will get the honor of hearing her sing beautifully later. So, actually, in just a few minutes. So it's been a week, right? Yeah, it's been a bit challenging. But you know, one of the things for us to remember is that this is not the first nor probably the last time that we're going to be going through difficulties as a nation or as a people. So I wanted to begin our opening words this morning from a wonderful man named the Reverend Ethelred Brown. He served as a Unitarian minister in Jamaica and opened the first Unitarian church in Harlem in the early 20th century. And I'm sure you can imagine that he faced a lot of challenges. And he wrote these opening words that I think just sing for us today. As we face a troubled and puzzled world, we too are troubled and puzzled. As our fond dreams remain unrealized and our bright hopes of yesterday wither into the bitter disappointment of today, our courage fails, our spirits droop, our faith trembles, and frustrated, we bow our heads in despair. But nevertheless, we come to this hour in this sacred place as we seek to recommit ourselves to peace in our time. And may we first be at peace within ourselves and with one another. May we know that without love, there will never be peace. Teach us, therefore, to love.
Estranged, the wind has dropped and the skies deranged. Summer has stopped. Summer has stopped. And the world has changed. Look in my eyes, wilt thou change too? Look in my eyes, wilt thou change too? Should I fear surprise, shall I find aught new in the old and dear, in the good and true?
hard act to follow. My goodness. Don't worry, I won't be singing. Um, Our story this morning for our Time for All Ages is a story that comes from the what's known as Hui people out of China, which are Muslims who live in China. So long, long ago, in the country of China, lived a young woman of the Muslim Hui people whose name was Selimai. Though she was a farm girl, too poor to attend school, Selimai nonetheless paid close attention to life around her. And when people in the village needed help, she was always there. When the kids scraped their knees, she would kiss their boo-boos and everything would be okay. She possessed a very wise and compassionate heart. And one day, her father, he was kind of a carpenter, he was ordered by the emperor to make some repairs at the palace. Oh, Ali, he was really nervous and he pushed himself to work his very hardest, working all day and night for the emperor, hoping to do the best job that he could. But unfortunately, sometimes when you push yourself a bit too hard, you don't rest, and you don't drink your water, he got dizzy, got a little fatigued, a little careless, and he tipped over the emperor's most precious vase. And the pieces shattered everywhere. Oh, the emperor heard about this, his ruined, priceless vase. And he said, "Bring this carpenter to me at once." Oh, he was mad. And, he got his sword out. He was going to cut off Ali's head. And Ali said, "Please forgive me. I didn't mean to break it. I promised to pay for it." How can you, old man? How could you ever pay for this? Oh, please have mercy. I will pay. I will. And the emperor resheathed his sword. He said, "Oh, yeah? Really? Okay. Very well. Well, here's what I expect you to do. I'll give you maybe a week to find me 4 things. All right?" Thought about it for a minute. He said, "First of all, I want you to find me something that you must get me is something more black than the bottom of a pan. Second, you must find me something clearer than a mirror. Third," thought about it for a second, "something stronger than steel." And the emperor smirked and he said, "And lastly, find me something as vast as the ocean." Oh, and if you fail at any of these, I will chop off your head. Oh, man, Ali was like, how am I going to do this? Oh, he bowed and he went home, and for the next 6 or 7 days, he was just trying frantically to think, what could he do? There really wasn't anything. He was just being tortured by the emperor. He knew it. Well, Selimai, his daughter, said, "Hey, what's the problem, Papa? How can I help?" And he's like, "Oh, no, I don't want to bother you." But of course, she insisted, and he told her about the emperor's 4 impossible tasks. And Selimai said, "Oh, that's not a problem. Don't you worry. I know where to find all these things. And when the emperor comes tomorrow, you let me talk to him. It'll be all right." He was like, "Don't be silly. He just wants to torture me." "No, really, I do have all of these things. Wait until tomorrow and I'll show them to both of you." So sure enough, the next day, the emperor came with his soldiers knocking on the door, and the emperor had pulled out his sword. He said, "All right, time to give me what you owe me." Ha, ha, ha. Ali came out with his daughter, Selimai, with him, and she stepped forward and said, "Your Majesty, the 4 things you requested are ready to be presented. Please name them one by one." "All right." He said, "The first one is that which is more black than the bottom of a pan." "This, Your Majesty, can be found in the monstrous, greedy heart." Oh, the emperor was a little surprised. This little slip of a girl, she's just a farm girl. She doesn't know anything, really. "Well, all right, then. The next thing you must be is something more clear than a mirror. Do you have that?" "Absolutely," she said. "Knowledge offers a clarity greater than any mirror." "Okay, well, how about something stronger than steel then, huh?" "A loving heart is stronger than steel. Love is the strongest thing in the world." Okay, well, what about something that's possibly as vast as the sea? A virtuous heart, she says, is as vast as the sea. Fine. He said, all right, everybody, it's time to leave. Fine, you're hereby pardoned, he said, told his soldiers to march on out. And because of Salamai's wise heart, Ali could now live a long and happy life. That is our story for today. All right, I'd like to invite Danielle up here. She's our Director of Religious Education for Children and Youth, and we will sing our children, youth, and teachers, anybody who would like to go to the religious education classes.
We hold you in our love as you go, as you go. May your heart be at peace as you go. To nurture the spark of your precious life. We hold you in our love as you go.
I think all of our children are either already in there or they also are kind of reeling from this week and just needed to sleep in. All right, let's see here. Our reading this morning is called My President by Danez Smith. They are a queer, non-binary poet, writer, and performer out of St. Paul, Minnesota. And they wrote this. Today, I elect Jonathan, 11, and already making roads out of water. Young genius blog writer, little community activist, curls tight as Pinky swears, black as my nation. I trust the world in his tender, blooming hands. I trust him to tell us which rivers are safe to drink and which hold fish like a promise. And I elect Eve Ewing, who I know would misfizzle this country. There we go. There she is. Into one big classroom where grandmas finger paint the national budget and uncles stand around smoking blacks, plotting on stars for our escape. She could walk to the podium in her inauguration and say, the future is now, and we'd all marvel at the sun and moon looping the sky like a GIF as the cars leaned to fly and our skin grew bulletproof. And Colin Kaepernick is my president, who kneels on the air, bent toward a branch, throwing apples down to the children and vets. And Rihanna is my president, walking out of global summits with wine glass in hand, our taxes returned in gold to dust our faces into coins. And my mama is my president. Her grace stunts on amazing brown hands, breaking brown bread over mouths of the hungry until there are none unfed. And my grandma is my president, and her cabinet is her cabinet because she knows to trust what the pan knows, how the skillet wins the war. And the man I saw high-kicking his way down the river, he is my president. And the trans girl making songs in her closet, spinning the dark into a blooming dress, she too is my president. And Shonda Rhimes is my president, and Nate Marshall is my president, and Trina is my president. And the boys outside Walgreens selling candy for a possibly fictional basketball team are my presidents. And the bus driver who stops after you yell, wait, only twice, is my prez. And the dude at the pizza spot who will give you a free slice if you're down to wait for him to finish the day's fourth prayer is my president. And my auntie, only a few months clean, but clean, she is my president. And my neighbor who holds the door open when my arms are full of laundry is my president. And every head nod is my president. Every child singing summer with a red sweet tongue is my president. The birds and the cooks and the single moms especially, and the weed dealers and the teachers, and the meter maid who lets you slide, and the cab drivers who stop, and the nurses' swollen feet, the braiders' exhausted hands, the bartender and Beyonce, and all our kids and the rabbi and the sad girls and the leather daddy who always stops to say good morning and the boy crying on the train and the sudden abuela who rubs his back and the uncle who offers him water and the drag queen who begins to hum. Oh, my presidents, my presidents, my presidents, my presidents! Show me our nation. My only border is my body. I sing your names. I sing your names. Your names are my mighty anthem. I invite you this morning into a time of contemplation, meditation, or prayer, and ask yourself, who or what are your presidents? Who or what are your presidents? Well, music is one of my presidents, and when you're ready, please join Jacob in singing.
Love will guide us, peace has
Guide us, hope inside us will lead the way on the road from greed to giving. Love will guide us through the hard night. If you cannot sing like angels, if you cannot speak before thousands, you can give from deep within you. You can change the world with your love. Love will guide us, peace has tried us, hope inside us will lead the way on the road from greed to giving. Love will guide us through the hard night.
So, we elected a president this week. Yeah, wasn't the one that most of us in this room wanted, and it's caused a lot of fear and anger, despair, shock, disillusionment, just to name a few of those emotions. And you know, to be fair, it's not everyone in this country feels that way. And maybe not even for everyone in this room, though I would suspect to some extent most of us here. Most of them those people are saying things like, oh, it won't be that bad. Really, you're just buying into the fear of it all. It'll be fine. You know what? I pray they're right. I pray with every fiber of my being that it turns out differently from my fears. I'd be so dang happy if families are not torn apart by mass deportations. I'd be so happy if transgender people are not killed or forced to go into hiding. I'd be happy if marriage equality is not overturned. If no more women die because they can't get the abortive health care they need, because doctors fear imprisonment, that no woman is forced to have a baby against her will, I will be so friggin' happy if hate crimes against Muslims and Jews goes down. I'd be happy if Ukraine wins the war and Israel stops bombing Palestine and they come to peace. I'd be really happy if the tariffs Trump promises to pass don't increase poverty but decrease the national debt. Yay, that'd be great. And if there's still a free press after 4 years and no one's arrested for speaking out against the president and his policies, that'd be awesome. And if we still have a democracy. And if all that happens, you know what? I'll be the first to stand up here to apologize and say, I was wrong. I was wrong. And in fact, I may even vote Republican. Maybe. But if you want to know why people are upset, it's because all these things Trump has either promised, hinted at, or experts agree will happen. And like many of you, I've been processing what to many seems like a very shocking event. And when shock happens, when we feel like we're sort of, wait a minute, how could this happen? We were wrong to hope for something different. It can feel like the bottom of our world has fallen out, and we doubt ourselves and our sense of self. And it's times like these that we need to remember who we are. One event does not mean you have to toss out all of what you believe in. Today, we're going to remember who you are. I'm here to remind you this morning. So the first thing is to remember the dignity and worthiness of all people. In other words, don't lose your faith in humanity. I know, it's hard. Kent Keith is an advocate for servant leadership. He talked about this in a piece that he wrote titled The Paradoxical Commandments. He wrote this. These are the paradoxical commandments. He says, people are illogical, unreasonable, and self-centered. Love them anyways. If you do good, people will accuse you of selfish, ulterior motives. Do good anyways. If you are successful, you win false friends, and true enemies succeed anyway. The good you do today will be forgotten tomorrow. Do good anyway. Honesty and frankness make you vulnerable. Be honest and frank anyway. The biggest people with the biggest ideas can be shot down by the smallest people with the smallest minds. Think big anyway. And people favor underdogs but follow only top dogs. Fight for a few underdogs anyway. What you spend your years building may be destroyed overnight. Build anyway. People really need help but may attack you if you do help them. Help people anyway. Give the world the best you have and you'll get kicked in the teeth. Give the world the best you have anyway. I think many of us were very shocked, truly bewildered, at least I know I was, that a majority of the nation chose to elect a 6-time convicted felon, rapist, misogynist, racist demagogue over a confident, unifying, intelligent woman. And let's name it, a white man over a black woman. Don't think for a moment that misogyny and racism didn't play a part in this election. But also know this. Did you know that the most Googled question, do you know what the most Googled question was on election day? Who's running for president? And when did Joe Biden drop out? And that rose exponentially on Monday night. On Tuesday, what trended was, can you vote without registering? And can I vote online? I think the vast majority of people are low information voters. This is sort of surprising for me, but most people just want to feed their kids, work a job, have a good life, and a good laugh. Most live in ignorance of politics because of the hatred and vitriol that's slung around. And they just want to ignore it all. And so they vote in a autocrat wannabe. To quote a very wise person, forgive them, Father, for they know not what they do. Truly, I believe that most of humanity is good. As Heather Cox Richardson has said, people are gonna people. We do really great things and we do really crappy things because we're people. So remember your humanism At the core, we are good, we just make mistakes. Voting the wrong way does not mean that people are bad. Just sometimes they're just people. Love them anyways. Forgive them anyways. My second point comes from a reading that's been going around by this wonderful woman named Venice Williams. She's a community organizer out of Milwaukee. She organized all these, like 3 different communities around food and shelter, and she has a church that's centered around food, and she wrote this. She said, "You are awakening to the same country you fell asleep to, the very same country. Take a deep breath and pull yourself together. And when you see me, do not ask me, what do we do now? How do we get through the next 4 years?" She says, "Some of my ancestors dealt with at least 400 years of this under worse conditions. So continue to do the good work. Continue to build bridges, not walls. Continue to lead with compassion. Continue the demanding work of liberation for all. Continue to dismantle broken systems, large and small. Continue to set the best example for the children. Continue to be a vessel of nourishing joy. Continue right where you are, right where you live into your days. Do so in the name of the Creator who expects nothing less from each of us. And if you're not continuing all of the above in community, partnership, and collaboration, what is it you've been doing? What is it that you're waiting for?" In other words, we can do this. Remember that we as a nation have been through tough times before. It sucks. This time will be different from all other times, but they're also all the same. Our ancestors had it worse. People of color have been through worse. Jews have been through worse. Women have. Men of good conscience have. They have faced tyranny, death, and hopelessness, and yet they came through it, and so will we. Because to do otherwise is to dishonor them and ourselves. So remember. This leads me to what she was talking about there at the end. Our third thing to remember is you are not alone. There are millions of people who are in solidarity together. Our ancestors didn't do it alone. They stood in solidarity with others. They had allies, friends, and each other. People need to know that they are not alone. Your trans friends, your women friends, your immigrant friends, your neighbor, the box boy, your bus driver, your barista, all of them need to know that they are not alone and that you are with them. So this week when you're feeling lost, alone, reach out to someone and tell them that they're not alone. This was a little thing that happened to me yesterday. I was at a coffee shop with a friend, and in the cafe was a big Black Lives Matter sign and a big progressive pride flag. And I thought, I wonder if after the election, if they're considering taking those down. Orange County went red. Were they afraid? I mean, I might be. So I made a point of telling them, thank you for flying those flags. People need to see the visible signs that they are not alone. So we're going to fly our pride flags and our freedom bracelets that I've got here. We're going to be visible, and yeah, it's risky, and so is losing our democracy. Remember the courage of our ancestors. And the other thing is remember that you are a Unitarian Universalist, or one who's becoming one maybe. A colleague of mine, the Reverend Jake Morrill, some of you know of him, he told me he woke up Wednesday morning and wondered how he was going to tell his daughter that the man her father had described as a bully and a racist will be the president of our country. Man, parenting is hard. This is what he told her. He said, I love you, and here's what we're going to do. We're going to fiercely love everyone we know and everyone we don't know, our neighbors and strangers. We're going to love people, and we're going to be fair, and we're going to treat people with compassion and justice because that is what we do. In our family, in our church, that is what we do. And it doesn't matter that some people don't do that, and it doesn't matter if the president doesn't do that. We're going to love everyone fiercely, without exception, because that is what we do. That is how we live. That is who we are. And we're not going to change who we are. Jake's right. That is what we Unitarian Universalists do. Doesn't matter that some people don't do that our president doesn't do that. We are Unitarian Universalists. We are going to love everyone fiercely without exception. That is what we do. It's how we live. It's who we are. People will hate, but love anyway. And lastly, remember to prepare for the fight to come. Love may have lost this one battle, but it doesn't mean the war is over. And I believe that love will win. We've got to prepare ourselves, build up our love warrior skills, as it were. This final reading comes from the poet Rosemary Tromer. She put it this way: "So I can't save the world, can't save even myself, can't wrap my arms around every frightened child, can't foster peace among nations, can't bring love to all who feel unlovable. So I practice opening my heart right here in this room and being gentle with my insufficiency. I practice walking down the street heart first. And if it is insufficient to share love, I will practice loving anyway. I want to converse about the truth, about trust. I want to invite compassion into every interaction. One willing heart can't stop a war. One willing heart can't feed all the hungry. And sometimes, daunted by a task too big, I tell myself, oh, what's the use of trying? But today, this week, the invitation is clear: to be ridiculously courageous in love. To open the heart like a lilac in May, knowing freeze is possible and opening anyways. To take love seriously, to give love wildly, to race up to the world as if it were a puppy, adoring and unjaded, stumbling on its own exuberance. To feel the shock of indifference, of anger, of cruelty, of fear, and stay open. To love as if it matters, as if the world depends upon it. And the world does depend upon it. My wonderful warriors of love, we need to gear up, get ready. We don't know what's coming, but we need to put on our love armor and wield the sword of justice, hope, and courage. One of my favorite texts I saw this week was, "Fight like you're the third monkey trying to get on Noah's Ark." And that's what we're going to do. So when you feel lost, here's some things to remember. Don't lose your faith in humanity. People are going to people. Forgive them and love them anyways. Remember that our ancestors of theology, justice, and our heart have lived through worse. It sucks, it's hard, and it's going to be horrific, but we got through it, and so they got through it, and so can we. And remember to be in community and in solidarity. People need to know that you are with them, that they are not alone. And remember who you are. Remember your Unitarian Universalist values. And remember to practice love every chance you get, as if the world depends upon it, because it does. I invite you to sing now one of those songs that we all know, or most of us here know. It came at one of the most difficult times in our nation. We shall overcome.
Please rise in body or spirit. We shall overcome. We shall overcome. We shall overcome someday. Oh, deep in my heart, I do believe we shall overcome someday. We'll walk hand in hand. We'll walk hand in hand. We'll walk hand in hand someday. be free someday. Oh, deep in my heart, I do believe we shall all be free someday. We shall live in peace. We shall live in peace. We shall live in peace someday. Oh, deep in my heart, I do believe we shall live in peace someday.
Unitarian Universalist congregations are fully self-supporting, meaning that members and friends raise all funds for the operating budget, ministries, and programs of the church. We are ever grateful for your gifts of time, treasure, and talent. OCUUC amplifies that spirit of generosity by sharing one half of the plate we receive with an organization that shares our values. And this month, we are sharing with Ray Elementary School. Yes. They have a wonderful program, a new robotics room in 2023 that was created that we're contributing to with their focus on science, technology, engineering, and math. You can mail a check. You can go through our website or use an app called Vanco Mobile. If you're a roomer, you can also simply use the basket that are being passed around. The choice is yours. All the information on our website is on our website should you need it. And as always, thank you for your generosity.
I am lost but not alone. 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 Hey, my friend, if you need someone who could talk with you all night.
please join us in singing We Gather Together, a song that puts our intentions into words and expresses the many gratitudes for the gifts that we share. We gather together, we gather as one, for peace, love, and justice for everyone. We give from our hearts to show that we care. We can change lives with what we share.
By the way, if you're looking for some good music to lift up your spirits that's love and justice oriented, I cannot recommend Michael Shanti higher. He's all over YouTube. He's just wonderful. You'll be hearing more about him. At any rate, all right, now is that time in our service when we honor the important events and people in our lives. It's a ritual, a weekly ritual that we call Joys and Sorrows, and you are invited, one and all, member, friend, visitor, to participate. I'd like to invite Judith Stamper up here. She's one of our pastoral care associates, and she's going to help light a candle. You all met her earlier. So roomers and Zoomers, everyone is welcome to participate. So if you come here, basically the idea is if you come here, something you're holding, I think many of you are holding in your heart, something from the last moments, days, weeks, or hours, and if you'd like to honor that profound joy or sorrow, you are invited to do so by coming forward, embodying it by lighting a candle. If you're a roomer, you can come forward to light that candle yourself, and if you'd like to share it with the community, you can write it on a slip of paper like this one here. The ushers have them. You can raise your hand, and they'll be happy to bring one over to you. And Zoomers, of course, you are welcome to write it in the chat. And then once we're done reading them out loud, Judith will light a candle for you, and we'll read those joys and sorrows out loud. So as music is played, I invite you to silently offer healing or celebration as you feel called and according to your own beliefs. Please come forward. So I'm going to read those here in person first. So Elizabeth K. Has three flames that she's lighting. She said, all three of joy. She says, grateful that Sarah J., who is our administrator, is back with us after an overnight scare in the hospital last week. If you didn't know. Yeah. And just if you want to talk to Sarah and say, so glad you're healing well, she actually has some skin issues, so don't hug her. Just saying. Just saying. Also looking, so Elizabeth continues, she says, also looking forward to my annual Veterans Day lunch with my father who served in the Army. Yes, so Monday is Veterans Day. Thank you for that reminder, yeah. And she says, 3, a supportive community at OCUC to offer solace as we face an uncertain future. There's a lot of love going around for this community right now. Lori Kay lit a candle of hope, she said, for Reverend Sean, Jacob, and all. Thank you for your post-election gathering in person and on Zoom. It truly was a wonderful opportunity to let go and feel love. If you didn't know, we had a Wednesday night gathering here and online. And Simone B., she lit a candle of love, she said, for her brother Maurice, whose birthday was November 11th, 1934. He was a French Marine in Indochina, and he taught Simone to swim. He became a lifeguard and later on and taught Simone how to dance the swing. That is a nice brother. Very cool. My brother taught me how to give a noogie. That was it, pretty much. All right. All right. And Aaron, and he lit a candle of sorrow. Oh, he says, my friend Walt H., who died suddenly and unexpectedly, leaving 2 young daughters. May he rest in peace. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. Okay, and then those online, our Zoomers. Just a reminder, if you ever see me looking at my phone on Sunday morning, I'm not checking Facebook. I'm looking at the chat. And Linda C., she says, oh, bless her heart, if you could light a candle, she says, oh, honey, please light a candle of gratitude for this congregation of loving and courageous people. And Lee Marie, she also would like a candle of joy lit for Orange Coast Unitarian Universalism, its members and friends and leaders, and Reverend Sean, are my president. Back at you. And Catherine said she'd like a light a candle for joy to be able to join this morning and receive all the messages of love. And Sarah J., the one who has had a short stint in the hospital, she says, candle of gratitude for being home and remembering that I am often stronger than I think, but always as strong as I need to be. Prayers for continued healing. Alejandro, he wrote in the chat, he's writing all the way from Mexico, and he says he would like a candle of sorrow for everyone's safety in the days to come, months and years to come. He says, a joy to be in community. Donna M. says, please light a candle of joy for me. She says, I am heartened by your powerful message. Oh, thank you. And I'm blessed to have all of you who help me know that I am not alone. Amen. And Anna said, sad about the election results and the negativity, but a joy after the positive sermon, which reaffirms my values. And Valerie, a wonderful Valerie out in Pennsylvania, she says, sadness. This week, more Confederate flags than usual have been flown in the town where my kid goes to school. Someone also vandalized the gender-neutral restroom in the Student Union building where they go to school. I don't think I'm voting Republican anytime soon. Yeah, all right. Let us hold in love all the joys and celebrations and all the hurts and sadness, whether they were spoken or remain silent in our hearts. Let our joys remind us to be thankful, Our concerns remind us to hope, and our sorrows remind us to connect with one another. Let all these moments remind us that we are not alone. I invite you to join Judith in a spirit of prayer.
This is called Shoulders by Naomi Shihab Nye. A man crosses the street in rain, stepping gently, looking 2 times north and south because his son is asleep on his shoulder. No car must splash him. No car drive too near to his shadow. This man carries the world's most sensitive cargo, but he is not marked. Nowhere does his jacket say fragile, handle with care. His ear fills up with breathing. He hears the hum of a boy's dream deep inside him. We are not going to be able to live in this world if we're not willing to do what he's doing with one another. The road will only be wide. The rain will never stop falling.
Yeah. Okay, can you light, see, do we have, I think we ran out of candles, but Beth, thank you. Beth V said it's a joy to be with her tribe again. Oh, that's right, you're right. It says joy. Gabe hurt, so this is Valerie. I'm sorry, thank you. It's hard, I didn't realize sometimes people put replies. Valerie says as she continues to talk about the vandalizing that's happened at her school, she said her kid Gabe was found, has found purpose that they haven't felt in years, helping to counter the hate with love. They erased some hateful graffiti targeting Trump voters and also made the gender-neutral restroom usable again. Well done. Thank you, Gabe.
Let us join together as we extinguish the flame of our chalice and say together, we extinguish our chalice, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. Thank you for joining us this morning. If you're a guest, a visitor, or someone who hasn't yet been known to us, I invite you to become a part of this beloved community. If you'd like to know more about our church, we invite you to either stop by the welcome table in the courtyard outside or contact us at hello@ocuuc.org, and we will help you get connected. Zoomers are welcome to stay after the chat and chat with one another online, and we want everyone to feel a part of this beloved community, so please reach out and we'll help you get connected.
And all the ways to get connected, my goodness, we've got a lot of them going on up here. Okay, so first of all, there is going to be Thanksgiving here at the church. If you were like, hey, I'd rather be with a bunch of people, me and my family could come, bring your friends, all that sort of thing, please do come here. You are more than welcome. There's a sign-up sheet. Judith will have it, because Judith does all the sign-ups here at the church, it seems like sometimes. So she's going to be out there on the patio, and so if you'd like to join in and sign up for what you would like to bring in as potluck, that would be awesome. The other thing is, if you notice that there's a Adopt a Family survey, if you could fill that out in any way that you are able to do, and hand it to Wendy, standing up, our intern. So hand it to her as you're going out or out on the patio. You can even give it to me and I can give it over to her too. So there's that. Next week, by the way, so I'm going to be talking about mental health next week. We got a fun little activity for you. And I think we all could use some mental health right now, but there's also going to be a workshop afterwards about how to recognize the signs for people who need help. So please, if you are so inclined to stay afterwards, we'll start it fairly soon after the service. We have a guest speaker coming in to help with that with the Hogue spiritual counseling ministry people. They're absolutely wonderful. They do the community health. So the other thing is, anybody here feel like their life has changed at all? We have a Life Changes group. And if you're feeling like you need support or help, you are welcome to join that group, which Lori meets when? On the third Tuesday on Zoom, noon. Everybody is welcome. And then, of course, today, we've got, we back in September, for those of you who might not know, we did what's called the Climate Justice Revival. And it may seem like it's just about the climate. It's not. It's about justice of all kinds and how it's all interconnected. And we're just continuing to work on that. And next steps, everybody is welcome to come. We're going to be meeting here after this service to do that. So come here and hang out with me and Craig. And we're just going to keep moving forward, keep on. And as I said, we're going to fight like we're the third monkey trying to get on Noah's Ark. So take courage, friends. The way is often hard, the path is never clear, and the stakes are very high. Take courage, for deep down there is another truth, that you are not alone. Please join in singing our benediction.
Let us go out and all do our part. Let us go out, bring joy to each heart. Let us go out, with indifference destroyed. Let us go out with joy. Let us go out and all do our part. Let us go out, bring joy to each heart. Let us go out, with indifference destroyed. Let us go out with joy. Let us go out with joy. Let us go out with joy. Thank you, Carrie.
This service is over, but our service is going to be continuing.